Good morning. Welcome everyone to LisaBug Yoga. And today we are focusing on all of the directions that our spine moves. So we have lateral flexion of the spine, rotation, forward flexion, and extension, and then something called circumduction, where we circle the spine around. So this is going to loosen up all the tight areas of our spine. We might feel some nice release in the lower back. And the spine is also included in the neck, so we will do those same actions of movement in the neck as well. What I have today, of course, is my yoga mat. I have a block and a strap, as well as a blanket, something to sit comfortably on. And we are going to start seated today. So come down into a comfortable place on your mat. This class is also designed to be done a lot in a chair as well. So if you feel more comfortable sitting first in a chair, that would be great. And as we come into a nice comfortable seat, I want you to envision your spine nice and long and notice the curves of your spine that are naturally there. So we have a little small curve in the back of our neck, and it's an inward curve. We have an outward curve in the upper back and an inward curve in the lower back. So we want to keep those curves in place when we're in our neutral spinal alignment. So we'll just begin to come into circumduction of the spine in the lower back by circling the spine to the right, forward, to the left, and slightly back. And if you'd like, you can close your eyes as you're doing this movement. It might feel nice just to visualize from the inside out what you're feeling in your body. When we close our eyes, it makes our other senses a little bit more aware. Our hearing becomes more acute, and the perception and proprioception of our body also becomes more acute. And as we're circling, just notice if you're feeling any tightness, soreness, pain in any areas of your spine. We'll come around one more to the right side. And then come back to neutral. Just let your spine balance. Take a big inhale. Start to circle the other way, exhaling as you come around. Notice any other areas of the body you're feeling some release, maybe in your hips, outer thighs. And you can let your head be a part of this movement by slightly dropping the chin and tilting the head from side to side as you come around. You have some awareness of your abdominal muscles, still working, still active. Breathing with each repetition. And we'll take one more around to this left side, circumduction of the spine. Once you come back to center, let your spine balance out, come back to the curves of your spine. And inhale, sweep the arms up. Come into lateral flexion of the spine by leaning over to one side. Now you can keep the arms extended here, or you can drop this hand down to give yourself some support as you extend and stretch. And I'd like you to go at your own pace. You don't have to match my movement patterns, but we've got a few on each side, so just take your time to do what feels best for you here. Now sometimes it bothers shoulders to lift the arms above the head. So this is not necessary to have the arms up. It does give you a bigger stretch right here through the lat. But if that bothers your shoulders, it could even be down here, leaning from side to side, or just hands down on the mat, just a little tilt as you go. So take care of those joints that might need a little extra attention today. We're opening up the muscles in the obliques, the lower back, the mid back, upper back. Let's take one more to each side. And then coming to center, just extend your arms out at a comfortable place and rotate to the right. Come back to center and rotate to the left. So you're just using the muscles of your core to come into rotation, which is another movement of the spine. And we take that all the way into the neck. So you're really looking over the shoulder each time you twist. Really long spine. Now the next time we come to the right, we'll hold that twist. Your left hand can reach across the knee, the right hand can reach behind you. Lengthen the spine and twist just gently. Freeing up anything tight in the lower back. And then come back through the center slowly, realigning the spine, rebalancing. Take a breath. And then twist and hold to that left side. Look way over your shoulder and see what you can see behind you. Keep the breath moving. And we'll come back to center. We'll do a baby seated cat and cow. So cat and cow is flexion and extension of the spine by moving the pelvis. So start to tip your pelvis back, maybe rounding your back, and then tip your pelvis forward. It's nice to do this with some movement of the arms as well. So as you tip the pelvis forward, open your arms and pull your shoulder blades back. And as you tip the pelvis back, bring your arms together and open up the spine. Inhale. This is your cow pose. Exhale, seated cat. Just a baby flexion and extension of the spine. Really therapeutic for the lower back. One more. And we open out and relax the arms by your side. We're moving into kneeling cat and cow. If you need some padding for your knees, your blanket is a wonderful thing to use for that. Or double up your mat here. Come to hands and knees, and now we can move the pelvis a little bit deeper as we tip the tailbone up to the ceiling and slightly lift the chin into our cow pose. Exhale, curve the spine into a nice cat stretch. Now, if you're feeling any tenderness in your lower back when you come into cow with that big spinal extension, you can just go to neutral and then up to your cat. So really listen to your lower back if this big back bend doesn't feel okay for you. And one more here. And curving up. Come back to a neutral spine. So you feel those curves in your spine, a little one in the back of the neck and one in the lower back. And extend your right leg straight back behind you. We're going to come into lateral flexion of the spine, which is a side bend. So take your right leg out to the side and turn your head and look for it and shorten the right side of your waist. Then bring that leg all the way to the other side, look for it and shorten the left side of your waist. To to the right side, and to the left side. So some other benefits of this, we're getting a little bit of core work here, being on hands and knees. And we're also taking that right leg through some range of motion in the hip joint. So we've got abduction and adduction of the hip. Benefit for the neck is rotation, looking to the right and looking to the left. Let's take one more to each side. And then come back to center, level off your pelvis, and lift your left hand off the mat, spinal balance. Now we're coming to our cat and cow in spinal balance. So we'll inhale and slightly lift the leg and lift the chin. Exhale and pull the elbow towards the knee. Inhale and exhale, round the back. And if this is feeling a little bit too challenging, just come back to your regular cat and cow with both knees and both hands on the mat. One more repetition. Reach and pull it in. And extend back out to your spinal balance. Set the left hand down, the right knee down, and take an extended child's pose, reaching the fingertips out long to the top of your mat. This gives you a chance to rest your wrists. If you like, you can even roll them around a couple of times or stretch them in the opposite direction. Then pull yourself back to hands and knees. Repeat to the other side. The left leg extends straight back, and I've got a flexion in my ankle. Look to your left and open that leg to the left. See if you can see your foot and shorten the left side of your waist. Then pull that leg across to the right. Look, shorten the right side of your waist. And you can breathe whenever it feels good for you to inhale and exhale. Just keep that breath moving and flowing. So we're flexing our spine from side to side, using the muscles of the obliques, and moving that left outer thigh and inner thigh. Nice rotation for the neck. One more to each direction. And then come back to center, level your pelvis, and lift your right hand. And I usually rotate my arms so the thumb is up. That's a safe place for the shoulder. Inhale, slightly drop the belly, lift the arm and leg. Exhale, pull the elbow towards the knee, round your back up. And breathe, extend, and round. Remember your option for coming back to both hands and knees for our regular cat and cow. 2 more repetitions. Breathing, drawing the belly in. 1 more. Reach out and hold, stabilize your core and your spine. Bring the right hand back down and the left knee and extend back into child's pose. We'll come up to gate pose and turn the long way on your mat and take your right leg directly out to the side. So I'm on my left knee and my right leg extended. Your foot can either be turned in parallel to the side edge of your mat, or you can slightly rotate it out. I just want your foot to be comfortable here and not too much of a strain on your ankle. And extend through the fingertips. We'll take a side bend, reaching the left hand down, stretching the right arm up or close to your ear for a deeper stretch. And then pull yourself back up and stretch the opposite direction. Lengthen. This is a really nice side bend, lateral flexion of the spine. And we've got quite a bit of core work here, so you're really going to feel the abdominals working, the obliques, the back muscles, going at your own pace. And it's really important here not to twist your body. So when you come to the side, try not to bend over and round this, but keep it as if there's a wall right behind your back and you're just tracing your arms and your shoulder blades along that wall. We'll take one more to each side. And up. And then right back to center. Place hands on your hips, pull your shoulder blades back and extend right through the fronts of the shoulders. Now, if you'd like, you can take a small back bend here. So you're placing hands here to keep your pelvis stable. Tip your upper back slightly back and open your throat. We'll come back up. Place your hands right down in front of you on the floor or your block and take a stretch here for your inner thigh and your hamstring on the right side. So block is a really nice tool if you're pretty inflexible, and that's okay. You can place your hands right on the block so that you're up a little higher and you have some support. It's also nice if you are very flexible and you want to come down and just relax your forehead on the block. So it's just there as a really nice option, a nice tool to use. We'll hold here several breaths. As you're holding and breathing, you might feel you could slide this right leg out a little further and take a deeper stretch. So just explore your range of motion here. Not forcing, but just a really gentle stretch. Two more breaths. Last breath. And then take your time to switch sides. You can pull that right knee in and extend your left leg out. Place your foot in a nice comfortable position as you come up. Reach out, lengthen. Nice long arms. Use your core as you side bend over. I'm not putting a lot of pressure onto my hand here. Maybe it's not even touching the floor. And then pull yourself back up. Side bend the other way. Now, because our pelvis is a little off center, because one knee's bent, the other leg is straight, you're going to find that you can really go much further this direction than you can go to the other side. And that's absolutely normal. Find that range that really feels excellent for you. And I like to inhale when I'm in the pose, and then exhale to do the movement, because that's where I really need to brace the core. And then inhale in the pose on the other side to expand the ribs, and exhale to move. There's really no right or wrong way here to breathe. Good. Let's do one more to each side here. Stretch. And pull it up. And come back to neutral. Lengthen. Hands come to your hips, or you can even make fists right back on your sacrum. Pull your shoulder blades back. Lift your heart. You can stay just upright, that's fine. Or if you'd like to take a little baby back bend, you might feel a deeper stretch right in the front of your right hip. And we'll come into spinal extension. This is a variation of camel pose. And we'll come back up. Walk the hands down in front of you. Fold forward to find a good stretch in your left inner thigh and hamstring. And we can slide that leg out a little further. Use your block. Come on down and relax into that stretch. And just notice any changes on this side from what you felt with the right leg extended out. See if there's any differences that you can perceive in this stretch. Let the breath move smoothly in and out. Maybe an equal ratio breath, matching the length of the inhalation to the length of the exhalation. Just about another 15 seconds holding this pose. Two more breaths. Now very carefully start to press up. Come to both knees right in front of you. And come all the way up onto both knees. We'll take a traditional camel here by bringing fists to the sacrum or hands to the hips. Really lengthen the front of the spine, coming into spinal extension. You can take just a small back bend here. Some of you might be able to go further and reach your hands back behind you to your heels. Just a comfortable place here in our back bend. Very supported here with your hands. And one more breath in. And exhale, come back to center. Good, we'll reach down to the floor, tuck the toes underneath, lift your hips, coming into a forward bend. Right in the center of your mat. Your feet can be tied together or hips distance apart. Grab your opposite elbows, hanging in ragdoll pose. So this is a very deep forward flexion of the spine. You can have your knees bent as much as you need here to stretch through your lower back and your hamstrings, a little bit in your glutes. Now let your head really hang. You can shake it a little bit from side to side to make sure you're not tensing any muscles. You can also rock your body a little bit from side to side, just rotating to loosen up any tense areas. If you are really tight in your forward fold, maybe you'd rather put your hands on a chair or a block, or just come to a half lift position with your hands on your shins or your thighs. We'll hold 2 more breaths. Release the hands, reaching down towards the mat. Really deeply bend your knees, dropping your seat down to the floor, and let your arms start to rise forward, coming into chair. Good. Nice and strong in the legs. This is sometimes called thunderbolt pose or intense pose. Now, as you rise up, let your arms swing back behind you, a little baby back bend, arching the spine, and then exhale, sink into chair. Inhale, sweep back. Exhale and sink. if you don't want to do the back bend, just stand right up to neutral, but let your arms come back and then sink into chair. So back bending, you need to take that very carefully and make sure it feels okay for your back. 3 more repetitions with the breath. Inhale, expand. Exhale, sink. 2 more. Last one. Hold your chair and notice if you look down at your knees, they should be level with each other from side to side. Now, if you have your feet about hips distance apart, same thing. You don't want your knees bowing out, knocking in, or twisting at all from side to side. So we're going to keep that really good level position as we come into twisting chair. So we'll place our palms together, inhale to stand up. And as you exhale, bring your left elbow across to your right thigh and look over your right shoulder. Inhale to come back up. Turn to the left. Bring that right elbow across. So as soon as we start to twist our spine, our pelvis wants to rotate too. So you can look at your knees when you twist and make sure they're still level as you go from side to side. Then you'll know that you're turning in your spine and not in your hips. Going at your own pace. And then I'd like to give you the option of adding your back bend in with this. So when you come up out of your twisting chair pose, option is to lift the arms, extend the spine, and then exhale, twist. So you choose back bend or just a neutral spine. So we're moving the spine through extension, flexion, and rotation. The next time we come to that right side twist, we're going to hold it. So stay here. You can keep your hands pressed, the palms together, or some options are to place the left hand across the right thigh and the right arm reaches up. And I'm using my hand here, bracing it on the outside of my leg to help myself get into a deeper twist. 3 more breaths. 2 more breaths. 1 more. And rise back up to neutral. Either hold here or take a back bend. And twist to the left. And hold. Check your knees, make sure they're still level. You can take that option of our airplane arms. Breathing. 2 more breaths. 1 more. Come back up, inhaling either neutral or take your back bend. And relax. Good. We'll step our feet really wide onto the mat. Toes are turned out just slightly, and your knees are tracking over the feet here. We'll sweep the arms up. Inhale. Exhale, side bend over. We'll just move this from side to side, just like we did when we were sitting. And again, if the shoulders are tense with this, you can just slide a hand down. The arms are just an accessory. Whatever feels good for you here. So I really want you to notice as we're going through this, we're not twisting at all. So this is just side bending. The shoulders nice and level as if there's a wall behind us. Take one more to each side. And come back to center. Turn your right foot out and bend that knee. So this is our warrior two position. We have the knee tracking over the heel and our pelvis pretty squared to the front. Raise the arms out to side bend. We'll move into side angle pose. And then come up into reverse warrior. So same exact movement of the spine. There's no rotation, no forward flexion, or no extension of the spine. It's just from side to side. We did this in gate pose, so it feels very similar to that gate position. Looks good. And exhale. Now let's hold that side angle pose and really reach through the fingertips. Stretch. You might be able to sink a little deeper down into this. If you have your block next to you, you can place your hand on the block. Some of you might be able to get to the floor here, but what you don't want to do is bend over to get to the floor by coming this way. So just keep that right in the side waist. On your next breath, pull it up, and we'll hold that reverse warrior. So we're opening up this right side of the rib cage. Take a few breaths deep there into the lungs. And come back to that warrior two. Then straighten that leg out, reach out long for triangle. We'll bring the fingertips to the shin. The left arm either reaches right up to the ceiling or it can drift again close to the ear. For a lot of core work, we can reach that lower hand out and do this pose unsupported. Whatever feels best for you here. Now roll that top shoulder back. 2 more breaths. And then bend that knee just a bit to rise back up to your warrior two. Gaze out over the right fingertips. And then we'll come back to center. Hands can go to the hips. Turn that foot to where both feet are rotating in now. We'll do a standing camel. So hands at the hips, pull the shoulder blades back. Your option is to take a little baby back bend here. Lengthening the front of the spine and the front of the hip flexors. 1 more breath. As you exhale, come back up. Walk your hands right down in front of you to your block or to the floor for a wide leg forward fold stretch. So we did this from our gate pose. So now we feel both inner thighs stretching at the same time. The hamstrings, you can allow your legs to walk a little wider if you like a deeper stretch here. Let your head relax. A nice position with your arms, if you can reach the floor, is a down dog position. So you can walk your hands way out in front of you and stretch through the lats and the pecs with very little weight upon your wrists. Just 2 more breaths. And then we'll make our way back up. You can bring hands back to your hips if you like, and use the strength of the back side of the body to rise back up. Now your left or the right foot will stay turned in. The left foot turns out. Come down into your warrior two. So the stance in our Warrior Two is pretty long. So if you dropped a straight line from your wrists down into the floor, they should intersect your ankles. And that's ideally. But if you feel like you need to be a little closer in your stance, that's okay too. So let's shift into side angle, stretch, lengthen. Then use your core to pull back up into reverse warrior. At your own pace, moving through lateral flexion of your spine. And your neck gets a little bit of rotation if you look up to the top hand. At each pose, you'll be turning your head from side to side, to the left and to the right. So it's a great action for the neck as well. That also gives you a little bit more of a balance challenge to switch your gaze up to the ceiling on each aspect of the pose. Now, next time we come to side angle, we'll hold this one and really stretch here. Maybe find a lower place. Rolling that top shoulder back, pulling the abs in. One more breath. And as you exhale, pull back up, and we'll hold our reverse warrior, sometimes known as sun warrior. We're gazing up to the sun, feeling the warmth and the heat from this pose. One more breath. Coming back to your Warrior Two. Gaze out over the fingertips. And preparing for triangle. We'll straighten out the front leg. Reach out just a little bit. And then send your fingertips wherever they land on the shin. Right hand either reaches straight up. It can go over the head. And we can unload the bottom arm. That for me feels pretty intense. So I'm going to stay right here with a little bit of support. Roll that top shoulder back and breathe. Inner thighs engaged. A little softness in your knees. Try not to lock out. One more breath. And exhale to come back to your Warrior Two. Look out over the left fingertips. And then we'll straighten that front leg again. Pivot on both feet. Bring hands to the hips or fists to the sacrum. One more modified camel pose. Little back bend. If you don't want to bend back, just open your heart and really stretch here, right through the pecs. Take a deep breath in. Exhale to pull yourself up and reach your hands back down towards the mat for one more wide leg forward fold. And you can use the downward facing dog arms, reaching them out nice and long. Two more breaths. And begin to walk your hands over to one side, to one foot. So you have one leg in front, one leg in back. We'll come into a nice long low lunge here. Now you can always drop that back knee down to the mat or keep it lifted. We'll keep the opposite hand on the mat from the front foot and open into a nice twist here. Reaching up. Your top hand can wrap behind your lower back. You can try to reach your fingertips around your low back, looking up to the sky. If you're up off the back knee, really straighten your leg and push into your heel. One more breath. And lower down. And you're going to take a little walk around the other side with your hands in the middle, pivoting around. Other foot is in front. Come into your low lunge. Option to drop your back heel. Now check this front leg. You want to be sure the ankle is about underneath the knee or slightly in front. You don't want it way behind. So walk that foot out so it's in the right place and twist toward your front leg. Option to wrap that arm behind, rotate. Stable with your legs, with your core, and a wonderful twist in the spine. One more breath. And exhale down. From this position, push back either to a child's pose or a downward facing dog. You choose what suits your body here best in this moment. If you're in down dog, drop your heels deeply to the mat. Press away from your hands. If you're in child's pose, you can sit your hips back any amount toward your heels and reach out long through the fingertips. 3 breaths. And if you're in down dog, let your knees find the mat. Okay, you will need your yoga strap or something comparable like a necktie or a hand towel as we come into some seated stretching. Also, if you're pretty tight in your hamstrings, it's kind of nice to sit up onto your blanket or a little cushion so it slightly elevates your hips. We're going to tuck the left leg in, extend the right leg out long. We'll take our yoga strap and place it under the bottom of that right foot. And then give it a pull. Now for you, it might be feeling just great to stay straight up today and you'll get a nice stretch. Or you can start to hinge over that leg any amount to stretch the hamstring. So if we have the chest facing the thigh here, this is forward flexion of the spine. So it's like a forward fold, but with one knee bent here. The pose is Janusirsasana. Now, if you have any knee issues that prevent you from doing this action properly, you can just go ahead and extend that leg out and focus on this leg, bringing yourself forward. So I want you to feel comfortable in this side of your body as well. So we'll hold here a couple more breaths. Then adding a side bend to this same pose. We'll hold on to the strap with the same side arm, turn the chest away from the leg, reach the arm up, and then pull yourself down. If you're pretty flexible with this and you don't need the strap, you can do what's called the yogi toe lock. So you can take your peace fingers and loop them between the big toe and the second toe. Close it with your thumb right on the top. Activate your big toe so you're pushing against the fingertips and pull yourself down. Now, if you have arthritis in your big toe, you're probably going to say, nah, that one's not for me today, and that's okay. You can also grab the bottom of the foot. All right, let's come back up. And we'll switch legs, tucking the right leg in, the left leg out. Take your strap to the sole of the foot, the ball of the foot. And align your chest straight over that leg. So this pose is not about being able to bring your nose down toward your knee. It's about being able to keep your back straight and lean yourself forward any amount so you'll feel the stretch in your low back rather than just rounding your shoulders. Although that does seem kind of nice sometimes. But we do enough of that, so we don't want to accentuate that too much. Relax the back of the leg. If you're pretty flexible, another tool you can use is your block. So sometimes people can reach beyond where their foot is. So you can take the block, put it up against your foot, reach around the block, and stretch here. The block helps you to keep your foot at a 90 degrees flexion. Okay, let's add our side bend. So if you have the strap, you're going to hold it in the same side hand and turn your body away. Pull yourself into that side bend. Or use your yogi toe lock, peace fingers, wrap around the big toe, pull yourself down. You can reach the outside of the foot, lengthen. One more breath here. And pull yourself up. I'm going to give you two choices for the last pose we do seated. You can either take both legs wide and fold through the middle, or you can be in butterfly with both knees bent and fold through the middle. So I want you to decide which one feels best for you. And let me take a peek at my watch. We're doing good with time, so let's hold this about 90 seconds. And that might also give you enough time to do a little bit in both poses if you'd like to. So both of them give us a little bit of inner thigh release. So just kind of see which one your body needs the most. It's maybe not the one we like the best, but that's okay. It's the one we need the most. We've got 1 minute to hold. Nice deep breaths in and out. As you're holding, you might be able to find a little deeper movement. Sink down, relax deeper. If you need to come out sooner, please feel free to do that as well if you're feeling any pain or discomfort. Three more slow breaths. And then press yourself up. We'll transition to laying on your back for a nice long held twist on each side. You might need to have some props so that your knees can drop over onto a comfortable surface, so your blanket or cushion or block can work well for that. So we will roll down onto our back. And there's a lot of ways that we can twist here that are comfortable for individuals. So option one is you are just going to let both knees just fall over to the left. And this will be just a nice shallow twist. If we want to deepen that, we can actually pick the knees up and then drop them over. A little bit deeper twist. Or we can keep one leg straight and just pull the outside leg across, and that might be even deeper yet. So you decide which twist feels best for you, which side you'd like to start with. Now with our twist, we want to have the shoulder blades really placed into the mat. Your head can be neutral, or you can turn your head the opposite way from your knees. And I'm using a hand to press my knee down to get a little bit deeper. So that's a nice option if it's not forceful. Now as you hold the twist, you can just let the breath be soft and shallow. Or you can take some really deep breaths and move them into your ribs. So when you fill your lungs deeply, it expands the ribs outward. And exhale those breaths completely. And we'll be here 3 more slow breaths. And bring your head back to center. And your hips and your knees back to neutral. And before we move to the other side, you can do some windshield wipers with your knees, or hug your knees into the chest and do some circles a couple times each direction. If you have your blanket block or props next to you, you can move them over to the other side. And then decide if you just want to drop the knees over for a very easy twist, or lift both knees up and drop them over, or just drop the outside knee across. And it really helps to support your knee on a prop if you need to. Then you can relax your spine. You won't be tensing the muscles and trying to hold your knee up in space. Option to turn the head. And make sure your shoulders are in a nice comfortable position here. Maybe goalpost arms would be nice, or you can reach the arm above the head. And the breathing can be shallow, or begin to take some deep breaths in, expanding the rib cage. Begin to quiet the mind and the emotions, breathing away any anxiety or stress. And we have 3 more slow breaths. And bring your head back to neutral first, and then your hips and knees. And again, you can come into windshield wiper legs, dropping the knees from side to side, or pull the knees up to the chest and do a few circles, massaging the lower back, a couple of them one direction, and then reverse. And then just extend the legs straight up And we will flex and point the ankles. So this is our legs up the wall, which is wonderful for our immune system. Helps us to draw the blood down from the lower extremities and circulate, as well as our lymphatic fluid, our immune system. It's wonderful to prevent spider veins, varicose veins. And the flexion and pointing of the ankle creates a muscle pump, and it squeezes those fluids back down. So if you have any swelling in your ankles, any edema, this is a wonderful thing to do every day. Now I'll just relax the feet and let the legs remain up. If it's difficult for you to keep them up on your own, you can place your yoga strap under the bottoms of the feet and hold your legs up with your arms. Or you can elevate your feet up against a wall or a chair. And just relax the mind and breathe. Let your legs feel really heavy. You're pressing your lower back down into the mat. And just check in. Notice how you're feeling today after your yoga practice. Taking note of the benefits that you felt in your body, in your mind, and in your spirit. And you can remain here as long as you wish. And we'll begin to roll over to one side to press up to a comfortable seat. Just taking your time. And as we come full circle where we began in our practice, just close your eyes for a few breaths and visualize the spine. Good posture, level pelvis, and slightly pull your shoulder blades back, lifting your heart. We'll take a breath together, sweeping the arms out and up. Press the palms and bring your thumbs to your forehead. Our third eye center, our area of wisdom and knowledge and understanding, as we focus on positive thinking. We bring our thumbs down to our lips to speak only positive words. And the thumbs come to our heart for positive actions. And that light and love that resides within me honors the light and love in each of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for the honor of guiding you through your yoga practice today. And let's chat for a second if anybody wants to stay on for a minute or two and see how you're doing today.